Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's Sales Professional Network. This is TSPN. I am your host, Andre Harrell. This is Blog Talk Radio's first and only show dedicated to the needs of the sales professional. And regardless of the industry that you're in, if you're in the sales business, this channel and show is just for you. We focus on topics that are relevant to all industries, and the commonality is that we in the sales business as sales professionals face similar challenges each and every day. And the Sales Professional Network really was sincerely designed to create a forum where we can discuss these challenges and come up with some solutions and best practices to meet those challenges. Tonight's show is brought to you by AH Square and Beyond Consulting. That's AH2 and Beyond.com, delivering beyond our clients' expectations in sales strategies, marketing, and sales training. AH Square and Beyond. Increasing your competency means increasing your sales results. Tonight's show is really just a brief show, and it's my afterthoughts of last night's show, which was Mentorship is the New Leadership. And if you're coming back tonight after listening to last night's show, I say welcome back. Thanks for visiting our show tonight and coming back and, I guess, getting my 2 cents in on the subject tonight. If you didn't get a chance to listen to last night's show, it is in the archives view in Blog Talk Radio, so you can go view that entire show in its full entirety. For those of you listening to this program and would like to join in on the discussion tonight, or if you have a question for me or just comments on the subject tonight, you can call in. The number is 347-838-9979. You can press number 1 on the keypad, and I'll be going back and forth looking at the switchboard. So if you are calling in, I'll make sure that I review the switchboard to see that you are calling in. You just need to press number 1 on your keypad. That'll notify me that you do have a question, and I'll get you on right away. I do have a special thanks to go out to Ursula Razak, who is the CEO of Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Bucks County, PA, Pennsylvania, who was our guest speaker on last night's program. And, I can speak from personal experience. Big Brothers, Big Sisters is a wonderful organization. And being a big brother myself or a mentor myself, the process working with them is seamless, and I got to say it's just been a lot of fun working with them too as well. Again, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Again, it really is a great organization. If you're not familiar with it, you can go to their website by just typing Big Brothers, Big Sisters in your browser, and that'll get you right to their corporate website, and you can learn everything that you need to want to learn about Big Brothers and Sisters on the internet. Again, it's a great organization. Tonight, however, I do want to talk about the importance of being a mentor, and in this case, a mentor to our children. I talk to friends of mine. I talk to, my wife frequently. I talk to my parents, and, we all talk about how things have really changed growing up ourselves as children, has changed from today. Unfortunately, sometimes I think young people today feel that they have to be their own parent, have to be their own leader, excuse me, and in many cases have to be their own teacher. And I'm not sure where that comes from, other than we as adults have failed them. Yep, I said it. We failed them. And I remember growing up way before I think the word even mentorship even came in existence. My mom used to have this guy walk me to the bus stop to school every morning, and I can't think of the young man's name. And again, this was years and years and years ago when this happened. But my mother made sure that I got to the bus stop safely, so she got another young man to just walk me down to the bus stop and wait until the bus came to pick me up to go to school. And keep in mind, I'm in my late 40s right now, and I still remember that. And while I can't really remember or tell you what we talked about, myself and the young guy, what we talked about on the way to the bus stop, it's an experience that obviously resonated with me. As I mentioned, I'm in my late 40s, and I still remember that experience of being walked to the bus stop. And like I said, I don't remember the conversation. I can't even remember the kid's name who used to walk me to the bus stop. But again, with that experience, it's always resonated with me up until this point. And so now, with experience and the love and the discipline, and importantly, with the support on top of, being walked to the bus stop that my parents provided me while growing up, I truly feel I was blessed. I always had parents there who, pushed me, supported me, loved me, and really tried to help me get through life and growing up and being the type of person I am today. And like I said, I really feel blessed to be provided that opportunity my whole entire life. But in reflection, however, I think there are children out there who do not have that type of support or advantage. And I'm always thinking, how can we get to them? How can we get to these kids? And full transparency, I'll say about 4 or 5 years ago, I really didn't care too much about this subject. And it's not to say that I didn't have a heart for children going through life without some sort of guidance, mentorship, or mentoring or leadership. I just had this mentality that, it's not my problem. And hell, I have my own problems. And I can't tell you what my epiphany was, but I can only say that I really became tired of feeling sorry for myself and the problems that I was going through. And even still to this day, everybody has problems and I have problems. And I thought to myself, I'm really being selfish in my thinking. And so it wasn't anything, folks, that pushed me to become a mentor or pushed me to, even have a drive in my life to really help others, and in this case, helping younger people, other than the fact that I really just became somewhat frustrated by always sulking and always, going back feeling sorry for myself about things that that I've been going through or that I have been going through in my lifetime. And I've always thought to myself is that I really need to spend more time not only working on those things, but if I can exert a little bit more energy in helping others, guess what? Probably going to boomerang back to me and help me in return. I remember Richard Pryor, and I'll never forget this statement and saying, I guess. Richard Pryor used to say, when he was going through all his problems, he used to say to himself, "Why me?" And then he'd answer, "Why not you?" And for some reason, I can never forget that exact comment. I'll never forget it because it sums it up for me in that you can't be that selfish and thinking you're the only one on this planet with problems. And as soon as you completely understand that, a burden does lift off of your shoulder. So I made it a focus to reach out and help others because guess what? In turn, as I mentioned, it helps me. And going back when I think our most vulnerable of those who need love, support, and leadership and mentorship is children. The children come to mind when I look at the humans or at the smaller humans that have the most risk and are at most risk of not having love and support and leadership. Children come to my mind all the time. So I've said on many occasions that mentoring not only helps the recipient, but it's a boomerang effect because it comes right back to you as a mentor. And as discussed on this program last night, there is a leadership quality that exists in the mentoring process that goes far beyond just this, corporate theme. I think when we hear the word leadership, we go back to, this type of corporate vibe or setting. But there is a life leadership vibe that is so impactful that it's really hard to explain. If you've always thought about being a mentor to our youth, as evident from last night's program, as we discussed, there are many agencies that do great work, like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, that can help you in the process of officially becoming a mentor. However, in the end, it's your decision and just you saying, okay, I'm going to do this, and do it. And we talked a little bit about that last night, and that, oftentimes, and believe me, I was guilty of this 2 years ago, where I always thought, boy, it'd be a good idea to be a mentor to a child that's not necessarily a sibling of mine or is not somebody that's not related to me. It would be nice just to have some time to, spend some weekends with kids and, helping them develop and mature and helping them along the way and maybe sharing some of the different experiences that I've gone through in my early lives and even today in hopes that I could help them and impart some wisdom on them. And I've been guilty of putting that to the side. Well, I'm busy, I'm doing other things, and, I've got so many other issues and problems to deal with in my life. I just don't have time to do that. And I certainly understand. It's a big step for even those of you who are listening to my Afterthought show tonight, it's a big step for you just to, make that leap and say, okay, I'm going to take time out of my life to be a mentor to somebody else who, quite frankly, does not any relationship to me. But it's like anything else in life. Those who don't do, don't experience, and don't succeed. So if you've always thought about being a mentor and it's just that necessary push to get you forward, just do it, folks. Just do it. It's a lot of fun. It's very nervous up front. I think I shared this last night on the show when I mentioned when the first time I met my little one. It was probably the most nervous I've been in my entire life. And I've been nervous on occasion, even in corporate America. When I was in corporate America, I was nervous a lot when I had to get up in front of a whole group of people and even speak to them, or even sometimes I was nervous as far as leading sales teams. There's a nervousness that we all go through in our everyday lives. But I can't tell you how much nervous I was in meeting someone that's only 8 years old. And I think it's because my expectations were so high in terms of, I hope this little person, likes me, and I hope we get along very well. And I almost had to kind of step back and say, you know what, it's going to be all right, Andre. It's going to be all right. You're doing a good thing. You're helping this person out. You're helping this child out. But guess what? This child is going to be helping you out too as well. So it took a little bit of talking to myself to kind of calm my nerves, before that first introduction to my little mentee, or what they call in Big Brothers Big Sisters, my little. But it was a great experience that first time meeting them, and you'll have that first great experience meeting your little one too if you do decide to become a mentor. Ursula brought up an example last night. There are mentors within their organization, Big Brothers Big Sisters, that have been mentors to their littles or mentees for years and have watched them go through this maturation or maturity process, and it's just become the biggest thrill. Whenever you can start mentoring a child, let's say at 8 years old, and then you could be with them and watch them graduate college. That's got to be the biggest thrill in the world. And to me personally, and I'm speaking from me personally, I can't think of anything else that's most fulfilling than helping and supporting a child in need of guidance through that entire process and watching them grow up. Because you can say, in some sense, you had some support, some help in that, in helping them through that process. And I know Ursula had mentioned on a couple of occasions last night, once the little one was now become a big one and graduated through college, they reflected back as to how much help they received from their mentors. So it's huge. It's huge. And again, I go back and say it's not only helping the child, but it is an unbelievable, fulfilling feeling how it helps you personally. And it really moves you away from thinking about, your life doldrums, problems that you go through in life, because you've made an impact on someone else's life. And in this case, most importantly, you made an impact on the child's life. This is a brief show. I have it scheduled for a half an hour, but we're probably not going to go, obviously, a half an hour. And I just really wanted to share my thoughts on the whole idea of mentorship. And, I support it. I'm a participant of it, and I think it's one of the biggest leadership responsibilities in our society. Again, we talk about leadership all the time, and I can't think of the biggest responsibility in being a leader, mentor, and a supporter to our children. So anytime you can help our future leaders, and not just to say our future leaders, but anytime you can help someone else, I think it really moves you closer to happiness. And that's just, again, my feeling. Anytime you can lend out a helping hand to somebody else, and again, whether they're older or in this case, as tonight's discussion poses, whether it's a child, I have to think that it's the closest that you can get to happiness that you can experience in your life. And so that's it, folks. It's a really short show, but I really want to just give my take on the importance of being a mentor, and just to say I'm a mentor myself to a little one, and it's the biggest satisfaction, one of the biggest satisfactions that I've had in my entire life. So if this is a sales message, then so be it. we need more mentors, we need more adults, and we need more people out there to just spend just some good quality time with young people today, because guess what? They need it. Okay? Thank you so much for listening to last night's show. Tonight's show, I should say, and thank you so much for listening to last night's show if you're visiting this show. Tonight's show has been brought to you by AH Square and Beyond Consulting. That's AH2 and Beyond.com, delivering beyond our clients' expectations in sales strategies, marketing, and sales training. AH Square and Beyond. Increasing your competency means increasing your sales results. Next week's show, March 6th, next Tuesday, and by the way, Sales Professional Network airs every Tuesday at 7 p.m. So next week, March 6th at 7 p.m., we're going to be talking about training of salespeople. And why is it that we always place sales training of salespeople on the back burner, or we move it to the side? A lot of companies, they do not consider sales training as a critical importance. So we're going to talk about that with an expert in sales training. So please join us next week. I think it's going to be a great show, very informative. And the show is March 6th, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. If you'd like to follow us, if you go to my channel, you push the follow button, you can get updates and times as to when our next shows are. But our next shows are easy as far as remembering. They're every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Please tell your friends, colleagues, your network about there is a channel called the Sales Professional Network, TSPN, that's geared just for them. And I'm glad you were able to join me tonight for my Afterthought show. And if you get a chance, go back and listen to last night's show on mentoring. It's a very positive show. We had a great guest, and Ursula Razek, the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And if you are interested in being a mentor, albeit, just do it. And there's many, many agencies, just not only Big Brothers Big Sisters, that can lead you towards the direction of being a mentor to a child, because it's so, so important. Thank you very much, folks, for being on tonight's show, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks.